halalyam la Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Qudash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, a great milestone that rule well, laboring the word and doctrine, shalom, meaning peace. May that be unto the elect of the nation of Israel. Quick hit, fasting. Matthew chapter 9, verse 14 and 15. Then came to him the disciples of John, saying, Why do we and the Pharisees fast often, but thy disciples fast not? And Yahawashi said unto them, Can the children of the bride chamber mourn, as long as the bridegroom is with them? But the days will come when the bridegroom shall be taken from them, and then shall they fast. And we're in the season of the Day of Atonement as well. And this is also what we put it through the lens of a Messianic Jew, if you like. Because the Day of Atonement, certain ones like, we just had the Feast of the Blowing of Trumpets, and then we put it in perspective. Well, there's a trumpet, when the dead shall be raised, and them alive, the elect at that point shall be changed. That's something to put it through. And also through fasting, due to the bridegroom not being with us, in flesh, that is. Because in spirit, wherever two or three are gathered in the name Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, there he is in the midst. But this is just another, a messianic focus, if you like. And it's good to fast, man. It's good to be in a mournful spirit. It's good for physical health, but primarily it's good for spiritual health. Right, Ecclesiastes 7 and 2, it's better to go to the house of mourning than go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. Verse 3, sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance the heart is made better. Right, so refocusing, fasting and being in a mournful spirit, as spiritual prep. You've got preppers talking about what they're going to do when they cut off the water supply, the food supply, etc. In that day we ought to have faith, and we ought to be prepared spiritually. And that's really what's going to get us through. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and the strength of thy salvation. This is Isaiah 65, verse 13. Therefore thus saith the Lord, Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. So in that day we're looking to be provided for. But why? If we've been, carrying on as the world and not putting in any, sacrifices of our own, as a living sacrifice, presenting our body as that. This is Luke 6 and 25. Woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep. So getting into that. And this is not literally, it doesn't mean you can't ever eat. It's more symbolic. But again, fasting is part of the mournful, spirit. And to being atoning, at one. Making yourself at one. Fasting certain spirits can only come out by prayer and fasting, which really shows you how powerful that is. This is Matthew chapter 17 and start at 14. And then when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man, kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is lunatic. A lunatic used now is like a crazy person. We'll break down the word. That's just a little sidebar.
Strong's G 4583, seleniadzamai. Seleniadzamai.
Right, to be moonstruck or lunatic, to be epileptic. Epilepsy being supposed to return and increase within the increase of the moon. This meaning is doubtful, as the Greeks knew nothing of epilepsy. And when you break down, I think it's the Latin word luna, again dealing with moon. lunatic, affected with periodic insanity dependent on the changes of the moon, from Old French lunatique, from late Latin lunaticus, from Latin luna, and then that ticus, meaning struck. Just getting back into it. 15. Lord have mercy on my son, for he is lunatic and sore vexed, for oft times, meaning again often, he falleth into the fire, and oft into the water. And I brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him. Verse 17. Then Yahawashi answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me. And Yahawashi rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him, and the child was cured from that very hour. Then came the disciples to Yahawashi apart, without, and said, Why could we not cast him out? And Yahawashi said unto them, Because of your unbelief. So there's levels to belief. Because it wasn't like they didn't believe at all, but it wasn't enough. It's because of your unbelief. For verily I say unto you, if you have faith as a grain of a mustard seed, and a mustard seed is very, very small. There's a parable of that, and look how big it becomes. Just like this whole movement, so-called Hebrew Israelism. It started off as a few men in the know, at a school, and now everyone, their auntie and their pet dog is an Israelite. It's growing exponentially, but the faith is the thing that that's boosting that. The faith is the thing that's able to increase that. For verse 20, and Yahawashi said unto them, Because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, you shall say unto this mountain, Remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. Howbeit this kind goeth not out, but by prayer and fasting. Right, so that's powerful. So fasting, prayer, fasting coupled with prayer coupled with fasting can remove certain spirits of infirmity. Some wicked spirits. That's how powerful, fasting is. So it's definitely something we should practice in and be practiced in, as we increase in wisdom, knowledge, and time in this truth. That should proportionally boost up with it. We should never be stagnant. I'll say for me, I'm finding it difficult for the water aspect. Feeling I did get quite a lot of water in, but when you drink too much water and you feel sort of nauseous, but it's all about that test, and we're going to go through stuff that's going to make us uncomfortable. So becoming comfortable, being uncomfortable is definitely going to help us in this walk. But I'll leave it there. I pray it's edifying. Keep pushing through this fast. On to the next one, Lord willing. Shalom.